Welcome back, Savages. Tonight we are talking paranormal Christmas lore. So with the holidays coming up, we are going to talk about some Christmas lore, paranormal lore, how they commingle.
Big words. Good job.
I read. Thank you very much. My whole brain process stopped working. I see! Look what you did to me! So we're going to be talking about Krampus, Santa,
Satan.
Satan, same thing.
Yeah. The reindeer that are said to be from an 8-legged horse and not actually reindeer.
I don't understand the thought process sometimes. Like, I get that people want to play with paranormal lore and Christmas and things. Like, there's probably some paranormal things to go along with it, but that's just absurd.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird. Some of the things that we come across, like the horse skull on a stick.
I'm telling you, that's the mafia. If anybody's ever seen The Godfather, we know what the horse head means.
It's not the whole head, it's just the skull, and it's adorned with, like, holly and lights and...
So it's fancy.
Yeah, it's a
the mob.
fancy horse
It's
head.
the fancy mob. I don't know what that's going to entail, so I'm just going to apologize for that now. That looks like something a child would play with.
It's said to resemble what are they, the
hobby horses?
Horse? Yeah.
No, my God. No, listen, they actually have the hobby horse thing, okay? It's creepy. Adult people buy hobby horses and they go around to different stadiums and they have hobby horse things.
Races?
Yes, they have races. They have, like, stalls. People collect different hobby horses for different things. You have to watch videos. It's hysterical. And for anybody that may do that, I'm sorry, but I'm making fun of you now.
Maybe they're Welsh, because that's where this comes from. So there is this one called Mari
Lwyd. According to Google's pronunciation, it's Lwyd.
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 And it comes from Welsh Christmas traditions. And it is a horse skull on a stick that has a white flowing cape veil. It looks like a veil. It does. It looks like a wedding veil. And there's holly and berries and lights and...
Which, according to the thing that I was reading before we got up here, was that the hollies and, like... or the berries, I think they're just called hollies. Holly berries? I don't know. Are supposed to signify in different, like, there's Welsh, there's Viking, there's another one, and I can't think what it is. But they all represent different things. So it can represent wealth, it can represent fertility, love.
A prosperous year coming up.
Mm-hmm.
So apparently these people go in groups, kind of like carolers, and they knock on doors, and whoever opens the door, they basically have a rap battle of riddles. And if you, as the homeowner, open the door and you lose, they come in with this horse on a stick and raid your pantry and your liquor cabinet, and you are said to be full of luck for the new year.
I can't take any of that seriously. None of it. So let's break this down, shall we? Okay. Who in their right mind is just going to open the door and you're just going to have a rap battle? First of all, no.
It's called riddles. But
somebody getting throat punched.
Yeah.
You ain't coming into my house because I can't figure out how to rhyme words. Back then, their English language was not very good to begin with,
no.
First of all. Second of all, ain't nobody raiding my pantry or my cupboards because I lost. Somebody's gonna throat punched with their horse on a stick. That's just no. Second of all, this is why
my dog's gonna eat you first.
Right. This is why you don't let carolers come to your property. That right there.
Yeah.
I mean, now it's usually like a bunch of old like church people.
Well,
but still,
that's the other thing is they're said to either come and sing, but then there still is a riddle war in there somewhere.
That's like,
You show up with an animal carcass and knock on my door, I'm not opening it.
No, and if I do, there's gonna be a 1-2G standing back at you.
Yeah.
That's the safest way to say that on the internet. Because no! That's not happening. See, I'm so glad that I have a front porch. Because you have to get to my porch.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't get very far.
No.
That's not happening.
No.
And the horse on the stick, I'm still baffled about that.
So so there's different versions of how they came up with the horse on a stick. One translation of it is the gray mare, which they have said that connects to the heritage of the pale horses in Celtic and British mythology. And many of them can cross over to the underworld.
Puppies, or ponies, not puppies. Jesus Christ.
Rhiannon, I guess, rode a white horse. Rhiannon, whatever. Mm-hmm. That's a name I don't know. So.
I know that because there was a girl I went to school with. Her name was Rhiannon. Her sister's name was Shannon.
Rhiannon.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The other translation is the Grey Mary. That one, they say, came from the nativity scene. Well, not the nativity scene, but the nativity story where the pregnant horse was pushed out of the stable so that Mary could come in and have her baby, and the horse roamed the land looking for a place to have its baby.
Again, because humanity sucks. I get the whole point of Christmas is Jesus and his flock. That's just a sad story.
It is.
I mean, because, horses are good to people most of the time.
Most of the time, unless they trample you.
Well, that's true. That's why I'm terrified of horses.
I love them. They're beautiful, but
they're pretty to look at.
They can be scary.
Yeah, but nope.
Mm-mm. Go ahead, you can do this guy.
Krampus?
Yeah.
I love him.
There's a whole celebration for him this weekend.
I know! This is like the 4th or 5th year that I'm like, yes, I know we can go. And then we go to get tickets and whatnot. And I'm like, no, we can't go because A, it's too far away. And B, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, I know. I wanted to
But
go.
it looks really cool. I like the people who celebrate Krampus. And it's not because he's mean to children. I mean, that's a bonus, but still.
It's only the bad kids.
Yeah, but if you in today's society tell your kids about Krampus and how Krampus comes for the bad kids and this is why you need to behave, it's like this whole big, you're abusing your child, don't tell them those kinds of things.
Well, on the other side of the spectrum, though, you have the flockers who say you're abusing your child by lying to them about Santa.
Exactly. So you can't win either way, but I would rather...
I'd rather scare my kids into being good than...
Exactly. I stopped believing in Santa when I found out that my mom's handwriting matched when she wrote Santa.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, okay.
Our Santa is left-handed.
Oh my God.
I still have one that believes, so...
Yeah, I know. We as a society have, we have the opportunities to do one of two things. A, you force your kids to be good by Santa's going to get you something, if you're good all year round. Mm-hmm. But to me, that's just kind of like, it's stupid because A, not all Santa can't always afford to get their kids things. which sucks.
And that's a whole nother thing.
Right. So having, like, people, especially out and about in public, talk about Santa and, like, oh, were you good this year? What's Santa going to get you? I don't like that.
Yeah.
And then you have the people like me who would absolutely be like, listen, straighten up or Krampus is going to get you. And I would be that parent that, like, makes all of the stuff in the house. Like, you know, Krampus was there.
Yeah.
And dragging them out of beds and
Yep.
whatnot.
Yep.
Because I would rather have good kids who are terrified.
That they're going to get stuffed in a sack and taken away.
Right, because if you actually have read the lore of Krampus, like I have, because why not? It's not that he wants to torture children. It's the whole concept of he wants children to behave.
Yes.
And by scaring them instead of rewarding them for their bad behavior, you get a whole different outcome for children. And I know a few children who could use that. I think that instead of rewarding your kids for bad behavior, teaching them a lesson is a whole other way to go. That's probably going to get me a little backlash. But, I mean, dealing with kids now, there are so many kids that are getting kicked out of school by the time they're in 5th grade. There are kids that are being arrested or have a criminal record because their parents let them do whatever they want. And then here's a new iPad. Here's a new cell phone. Here's this. Here's that.
Here's a car.
Right. Why? And
this right here, I think, would cut down on a lot of the
if I saw
school shootings and things like that.
If I saw a 6'8" Sasquatch-looking guy
with fangs
and a
claws and
bloody sack roaming my neighborhood, yeah, I would be sitting in a corner reading the Bible.
And bursting into flames.
Right, they might catch on fire for that. But the idea of Krampus that people don't understand is it's not about rewarding your kids for bad behavior. It's teaching them that bad behavior gets you nowhere.
Yeah.
That it just gets you in more trouble.
He supposedly whips them with birch branches.
Well, I mean, I don't believe in that part.
But, well, that's the whole lore of what is supposed to scare the kids to behave. But then you have the ones... Yeah. But then you have the one part of the story where if they're super, super, super bad, he takes them to hell and tortures them and then eats them.
Again, I don't believe in child abuse. I think that might be pushing the candle a little bit. I don't think I would tell my kids that part of the story.
He's going to eat
right.
you.
I'm pretty sure there's a song that goes along with that. But the idea of Krampus to me has always been something that I think should be taught more.
Yeah.
Not the abuse parts, but just the rewarding bad behavior really gets you nowhere.
Yeah, I mean, but if you're teaching them that Krampus is going to come and get them, what do you really think he's going to do to them? Go take you to McDonald's for a Happy Meal?
Nope, he's going to drop you in the middle of the woods and leave you there.
No, okay, that could...
Find your way home.
That could work, yeah.
Have you seen the woods around here? I'd be terrified.
Oh, yeah, I ain't going in those woods. No, I'm good. No. There's a lot of articles... And a lot of people have written a lot of things comparing Santa to Satan. I'm not saying it's true or it isn't. We're just covering the stories that are out there. There's a lot of similarities that people have written about.
Like the man who drops down your chimney knows every child's name and address where they live.
Yes, and especially the part where he knows when you're asleep, he knows when you're awake, he knows when you've been bad or good, so be good for goodness sake, because they say, Satan influences your thoughts to make you bad, and then he comes for you when you're not.
I can see where that would kind of come into play, especially since they have made so many movies about Santa becoming like some kind of demon or Santa being Satan. I'm pretty sure there's actually
there was one I wanted to say it, but I didn't want to stop your train of thought. It's Santa versus the devil. I saw that today and I was like, really?
That is not even the movie I was talking about, but okay. Now there's a movie out now where a kid wrote a letter to Santa and he spelled it wrong and he gets Satan.
Oh.
It's got Jack Black in it.
Yeah.
But I can see that whole aspect of like Santa being the paranormal just because of you have this man who can make it across the entire world in 24 hours. He knows everybody's name, where they live, what they like, what their hearts desire, which is a demonic thing.
Right.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, because what do demons do basically? I mean, you have free will to think of yourself, like think on your own, but they always give you like that little nudge.
Yeah.
So they know what you desire most, what you want the most.
Yep.
And to just give you that little nudge to tell them what you want, and then it just magically appears.
Welcome, you have a demon.
Right. I don't see why any of that wouldn't be correct.
Yeah,
And then you have all of these men. And then the other thing is you have all of these men that dress up, that go to different places and whatnot, all dressed as Santa, but there can only be one Santa.
Mm-hmm.
So who's the real Santa?
There was the one I was reading that compared it to some story of lore where Satan actually came from a point up in the north where it was actually freezing cold instead of hell. There was, I don't even remember what part of the lore it was now, but they described where he came from, and it was this bitter, cold terrain, and it was brutal, and blah, 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 blah.
Russia.
Well, yeah, but they were comparing it to somewhere in Alaska, but same difference. And then they took that and compared it with Santa, who's from the North Pole. I don't know. They were comparing it to somewhere in Alaska.
Oh, okay. I was like, I'm pretty sure the North Pole's in the Antarctic.
No, they were comparing it to somewhere in Alaska. But then they, Santa's from the North Pole, and there's like, okay, well, this is one reason why they have their similarities. And then there was another...
I don't understand why they have to compare everything to Satan. Not everything has to be demonic.
No, but, the flockers. Although the one that I read, I mean, this guy, I would need like 2 full days to sit down and read everything he wrote, but...
He's probably taking LSD.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, very well could be. He's just some guy who likes to take these things and spin them into conspiracy theory type things.
Oh, God, he's one of those.
But he's not a religious person, so he didn't go at this trying to disprove the religion aspect. He just was saying, hey, this is what I've seen, this is what I've read, this is what I've heard. Then he took all of that and broke down into the similarities between the two. And he says, he lists them all out in this whole big thing. And then he's like, okay, now you make your choice.
That's too much.
No, it was, but it was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
The other one was one of the creatures from the lore that has to do with Satan. Was he came in riding an 8-legged horse. So then he's like, okay, so how many reindeer do we have? He also wore a red cloak. What does Santa wear? 8.
Oh. I was thinking 12. Why was I thinking there's 12 reindeer?
Those are the ones that sit on the bench in case somebody gets hurt. Or in case Rudolph's nose stops working.
I don't know. Like there's 12, right? No, I know there's not that many.
And then
I want to know how there are 8 legs.
I don't know how it works. Oh, there it is. The devil comes from the north, the domain of darkness and punishing cold. So that, he says, is another curious connection between Satan and Santa. Saint Nick.
Yeah.
He drives reindeer. He wears a suit of red fur. He goes down chimneys in the guise of Blackjack. I don't know where they came up with that name, but that's what he says.
Jack
Or
was a pirate.
no, that's Blackbeard.
Oh.
Also called the Black Man because he's covered in soot. He's also called Black Peter. He carries a large sack. Oh my God, Kelsey, you're killing me.
This is the best one yet.
He puts sinners in, including the naughty children. Carries a stick or a cane to thrash the guilty. And now he carries candy canes.
I always knew there was something weird about candy canes. I don't
Right?
like them. Well, now we know.
Right? Flies through the air with the help of strange animals. Food and wine are left out for him as a bribe to secure his favors. The devil's nickname is Old Nick, derived directly from Saint Nick. Nicholas was also associated with fertility cults, hence with fruit, nuts, and fruitcake.
Ew. Has anybody ever actually eaten fruitcake?
No,
Because
I
it's
have not, and
disgusting.
I can't. Because I've heard they last for thousands of years.
They
and
do.
I won't touch it. No.
You could build a house with fruitcakes.
I'm sure one of the little pigs did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you could totally build a house with fruitcake.
Yeah, no thanks.
Ew.
No, I'm good. But those were just some of the...
I'm still stuck on the food and wine thing because I know growing up that is not something that we put out.
Well, no, they were comparing that to the milk and cookies that we leave for
I'm
Santa.
pretty sure my Santa would much have preferred cheese and wine.
Right? I know Santa around here would way more appreciate some cheese and wine. But that was the other thing they were saying too, because Santa goes down the chimney into the fire. That's like going down into the pits of hell.
I'm pretty sure that most people know that you...
You don't light a fire on Christmas Eve, and if you do, Santa's gonna go poof.
Right. Everybody knows that.
Yeah.
It's common sense.
Yeah. But he's magic, so I guess he wouldn't really necessarily go poof.
And-
he's got to have a bubble of protection around him, I would think.
Right. Well, then what happens with...
It's cold.
Yeah. What happens with the people who need pneumonia? What happens with the people who don't have chimneys? Does the devil just walk through their front door, kick it open, and be like, I'm here?
I don't know. I mean, Santa, we pretty much know he can just, wiggle his nose and he's in. But, I mean, Satan, he's like the king of demons, so he can just poof and he's in. But pretty much by sending out your wishes and desires, you're inviting him in, so hello.
Santa is Satan.
Yeah.
I'm on board with that. Totally. Makes sense. Makes sense to me.
That's all that matters.
Right. Paranormal investigators get it. We know.
Yeah.
I guess I can kind of see both angles.
Yeah.
But the fact that Satan comes from some place that's cold.
I've never heard that before, but...
Right, and it kind of, I guess, puts like a damper, I guess you could say, on like the people who read the Bible that Satan has always come from hell.
Mm-hmm.
Satan is fire and brimstone, coal, all that crap.
Yeah.
And for them to basically say that Satan came from the cold, so does Santa, it kind of plays on the religion aspect just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just enough that you can still form your own opinion.
Yeah.
And that the religious people can be like, well, can hell be cold? Kind of thing. Like when hell freezes over.
Right.
Right.
It froze over. Look at that. There's so many people who have tried to compare Santa to Satan, and this was just one that I picked to read because once I read his first paragraph, I was like, oh, I gotta read the rest of this.
I think it kind of upsets me, though, that when people... I get that people are allowed to have their own opinions. Just like, I don't believe in heaven and hell.
Mm-hmm.
But to take something that children love and gives them some kind of hope and turn it into something evil and demonic is kind of sad.
It really is, because, I mean, this world is a mess, and there is not much hope out there for kids.
No, and taking something away that they believe in is kind of stupid. I mean, yes, I may not believe in a lot of things, but I'm not going to turn around and, like, tell you you're wrong.
Right.
Unless it's something that I really, like, know about. Like, with what we do.
Yeah, then...
Like, if somebody's going to be like, oh, I'm like, you're wrong. I've seen it. I've been there.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. I'm not going to, like, I'm not going to tell you
but
whether
something
you're
like
right or
this, we're not... This is all... There is no way to prove 100,000% that any of this is true or false.
Right.
So...
I saw real Satanists, and I was like, come again? The real Satanists. We're not all bad people.
You're turning it into a genuine hell of toxic waste and perpetual war.
Oh my God!
And crippling social dysfunction.
Well,
the Satanists didn't do that. Humanity did.
Right. We are not bad people.
He says these are the ones cloaked in the Armani tailored sheep's clothing.
Please donate so we can fund our trips to Tahiti and sit on the beach. I know that this is going to be the time of year that it's always this time of year that every religious nutcase comes out and is like, oh, demons this, Satan this, demons that kind of thing.
Yeah, because this is one of the most holy times of year.
Which they stole
from
the pagans.
Which is what holiday?
Yule.
There you go. That's the next part.
I wasn't sure. I was like, I know it's Yule somewhere. And again, but that's one of the biggest things too, is that this is the time of year where all of the holy rollers are like, church, 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 church. You stole it.
Yeah.
From the pagans.
Pretty much every aspect of Christmas
is from pagans.
Is a Yule tradition.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But they just wanted to put their little stamperoonie on it.
Yeah.
If I want to dance in the woods with all happy, jolly things.
With a horse on a stick.
I am allowed to do that. I'm pretty sure that's Satanism. But we're going with it.
No. Wiccans dance in the woods.
That's what I thought. Okay, I was right then.
You can dance in the woods. It all depends on what you're worshiping out there in the woods.
That's true.
That would determine which avenue it went.
If there's a black goat, it's not a good sign.
If you're dancing for the moon, then you're good. It is a celebration of the rebirth after the darkest part of the year.
Yeah, see, I did mine about Halloween. I didn't care about Christmas.
Yeah, I don't really care about Christmas at all. It's also when the god who sacrificed himself at, how do you say it? The Samhain? I always mess it up.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Samhain. He's journeyed through the underworld and in the embrace of the goddess becomes child of light.
I say Yule's about the winter solstice.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Then I'm not a complete idiot.
That's what the meaning is.
Well,
but yes, it is on the winter solstice.
Yes, because I did my whole project on the fall solstice, and I was pretty sure Yule was the winter one.
Yeah, he transforms from the Oak King into the Holly King, and then he shifts back to the Oak King at the summer solstice.
So he's a demon.
He's a king. He can do whatever he wants. Oh, no. I mean, in today's world, yes, we would consider that a demon because everything's a demon.
Oh!
Yeah.
That's coming up next week.
Yeah, it's 3 days before Santa demon comes.
That's just got to be a coincidence.
Santa demon.
No. No. That song already gets a lot of criticism.
Oh, but we could be billionaires making that song.
I doubt it. Somebody probably already has. There's probably already
I don't know.
a
We're
version
gonna
of it.
look though.
Okay.
So some of the Christmas traditions that
For
have
Yule.
been stolen
You stole them from us.
from Yule is decorating the Christmas tree is one. The Vikings.
Such a tedious task. Oh my god.
I don't do it anymore. The kids have to.
I don't have kids, so.
The Vikings, they used to decorate trees with runes, and other protective symbols. Later, they would bring it into the house and burn it for 12 days.
That's safe. So that's like,
Well, they would bring it into the house, and then I assume they would chop it up and then put it in the fireplace.
it's like Hanukkah.
Yeah, they would burn
Hanukkah
it for
was
12 days and basically have a party for those 12 days with friends and family.
So, Hanukkah.
Yeah.
Well, Hanukkah is what, 7 days?
I don't know how many candles are on the 1, 2,
3.
6, 7.
Yeah. And then you have the main one. Yeah.
Okay. The menorah, that's what that's called. The other one is the
Eating part.
yeah, the eating
It's the best part. Clearly.
Adorning your home with candles, evergreen branches, holly, and mistletoe. So during Yule, the children would fill their boots with straw and leave them out for the Norse god Odin.
You do that now and people take your boots.
I mean, if you put boots with straw in them outside my house, you're probably going to wake up with kittens in your shoes.
It's a gift from God.
Yes, that's where the eight-legged horse was. Odin rode his eight-legged horse. And so that the guy in the other one referenced his eight-legged horse. That's where it was. Okay.
Okay.
Anyways, he would slip down their chimneys and leave gifts behind for them near the hearth.
None of that sounds pleasant.
The Celts burned a Yule log, and they believed that the sun stood still for 12 days and would begin moving again. Which
Clearly we know
there's the 12 days with the Vikings bringing the tree in, and then they burn it for 12 days.
Mm-hmm.
Ancient Romans also held a multi-day winter festival known as, here you go, you are the one who pronounces all the weird words.
So what is it?
Saturnalia.
Well, yeah.
It honored Saturn, the god of agriculture.
Gradually over time, various winter solstices became part of their Christian celebrations because they stole it.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm not apprehensive about that.
Not every tradition in Yule, but
Most of
the
them.
vast majority of the key points of the holiday season for Christmas
They made
came
all
from
about
Yule.
Jesus. Listen, I was forced to go to church, mostly just on holidays, but it was, tormenting.
Well,
you ever been to a Catholic church ceremony?
Yeah.
Hey, it's like 2.5 hours.
I went to a Catholic school.
Sit, stand, kneel. Sit, stand, kneel. And then we all go to Ponderosa afterwards.
Oh, yeah. That was the only good part about going.
Eat, because
Yeah.
we were so tired from exercise. And drinking.
Drinking the wine. I think that's the top 5 of the lore.
Yeah. I think I'm good with that.
Yeah, there's so many other ones. If you ever want to kill a day or two, go down that
And
rabbit
I guarantee I could spend all of day just ripping them apart because that's what I do best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's what makes it fun.
I guess so.
Because I say, here, look, this is what I read. And you're like, well, no.
I'm like that news anchor that has nothing nice to say, so I'm just going to be like, no. Stop it. This is wrong.
All right, guys, that was our
Slap happy Christmas special.
after a very, very, very long tormenting week at work. Don't forget to tell your friends and or enemies.
We like enemies too. Send us their pictures.
Maybe we'll talk about them.
I'm good at that.